Hello, I'm Chad Frigon. I'm here for our weekly press conference with Bluejay football. Our team is coming off a second consecutive win. We beat Columbia Hickman this past weekend out of William Jewell College. Have a game this week against Ruskin. I'll go ahead and open it up for some questions.
How do you think you'll do against Ruskin?
Well, hopefully we keep improving within our game. We feel as a coaching staff have gotten better each week, really since week 2. And built up. Definitely have had different parts of our games that we need to work on that have been up and down. But as a whole team, we feel like we've gotten better. And hopefully going into this week, we'll continue to do that as well. It's our last regular season game. We'll have a playoff game the following week. A high probability it'll be St. Joe Central as our first playoff game. But we know that we have to continue to improve this Friday and then in the next week if we want to be able to, win football games, which we've done the last couple of weeks.
What's the biggest factor you think that went into winning last week?
Well, I think you look at, we felt like we were going to be able to score points going into that game, but last year against Columbia Hickman, we struggled defensively in stopping them, and they came out and scored on their first 2 possessions, and then that was really it till the final play of the game. And I thought we made some really good defensive adjustments throughout the game. They ran some things that we hadn't seen before and adjusted to those and then shut them down. And they have a really good quarterback, good running back. They have some talented players, and was really proud of our team and how they kept their scoring down, got some turnovers, and it led to some points for us.
Ruskin isn't known to have the strongest football program. How do you plan to keep our guys focused going into Friday night?
Well, we feel like we practice the same and prepare the same no matter who we're playing. They're a team that last year played us really tough for the first half, and then we had a good second half. And we've talked to our team about that. We have to be able to come out and play all 4 quarters. And definitely know there's places we have to improve within our game. We didn't run the ball quite as well as we wanted to last week and passed it extremely well last week. And we know we have to be a balanced attack to be able to do those things. So hopefully those things can keep our kids, on that same path where they're working on getting better, working on improving, not only as an individual, but as a whole team or offensive or defensive unit.
How much more confidence do you think the boys will have going into this Friday's game coming off of a win?
Well, and I think confidence is big, momentum is big, and that's what we were fighting earlier this year when we had 4 games in a row where we blew fourth quarter leads. And we know that would make a big difference in our season, even if we'd have been able to finish out some of those things. But being able to get wins against Park Hill South and Columbia Hickman has definitely helped us from a confidence standpoint. Just knowing that we can get it done. We have a team that's with a large amount of young players playing on it. And I think anytime you can build off success, whether it be in terms of wins or losses or just having success on the football field with individual players or plays is good. And I think we're riding that momentum right now, and it's carrying over into our practices and our preparations for each week.
At this point in the season, what do you think the team's biggest strengths and weaknesses are?
I think our biggest strength right now is our run defense. We've really shut down the run really since week 2. We've done a really good job with that. Even against when we played St. Joe Central earlier this year, we kept their top running back down to one of his lower yardage output games. He's still an incredible back, but I was proud of our kids for containing him. He hurt us on some other areas of special teams and some passing plays, but been proud of our run defense on there. Offensively, we have run the ball better than we did last year as a unit. Robert Rowley's over 1,100 yards on the season and one of the leading rushers in the city. And a lot of that is, he's a great player, but at the same time we have in front of him a line that's getting better each week and really building on what they did. Since Xavier's come back from his injury that he had has been a really big threat offensively, and Nick Kern has consistently been a threat throughout the year. We've also had the emergence of Caden Bale, who's really starting to give us some good snaps and yards. So we feel we're earlier in the season we were maybe a little more one-dimensional. We're becoming more multiple now and have more weapons involved in our offensive game. So those are some areas we feel like we're improving.
Is there anything that you think that you really need to improve on going into Friday?
Well, I think when you look at, we've got better in our turnover margin, but still as a whole in the season we're behind, and we know we have to continue to do that if we want to win football games. Our special teams have been up and down. We missed a field goal last week. We at our punt team had some things that we have to clean up going in there. So we know we have to be really solid on those fronts as we move into this time of the season, where we only really have 2 more guaranteed games. And then it's going to be where the winner moves on and the loser checks in their gear. So we know it's that point where we have to keep improving in all those areas. All right, I'd like to just give a report on our ninth freshman and our freshman team and our JV and sophomore teams from this past week. Our freshman team had a good win against Winnetonka last week. Won really big on that. I believe the final score was 50-6. JV was off this week. They did not play anybody. And then our sophomores will play tomorrow night against Lee Summit West. This week, our freshman team, they are playing at Blue Springs South tonight on Wednesday night, so we'll have that score coming in as well. Our JV team is coming off 4 wins in a row, hoping for a 5th game as they play Ruskin this upcoming Monday. Really proud of our kids on there. Our 8th grade team also beat Delta Woods last night, which was a good, I think it was 22-8. Our 8 team won. So a lot of good things happening with our lower level kids in 8th, 9th, sophomore, and JV. Really proud of those kids and coaches and how they're working. I'd like to wrap it up for this week with Blue Jay football, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.